one of my absolute favorite scenes is Terry watching TV. He's watching a violent slasher movie on TV, and he's like, God, that's horrible. How can they show that on TV? And in the next scene, he's like gutting someone to death after like smoking his joint with him for like a second. Like he's such a strange character with such a casual, funny vibe to the way that he talks to people like he's hanging out with them. And then all of a sudden he's doing a kill that would like make Jason impressed.
Yeah, absolutely. Or even like at the very beginning when they're having that Thanksgiving dinner. And well, for one, I love that shot where he gives the knife and kind of this weird stern look that he's given the stepdad right before they just have a close up of them cutting into the meat of the turkey. But when he's telling everybody at the dinner table about Todd escaping, he does it with like almost a gleefulness and once again just like an uncaring quality to it, and then goes right into like his mother starts to have that kind of face over her that we'll see through the rest of the movie because she's realizing that things are about to go wrong. But he still has that very gleeful, like just American kid, very happy. It's like, oh, it'll be okay. Gee, Mom, this looks great. Like he even kind of hams that up a little bit and gives it the all-American charm. He does that throughout. Like there's a ton of lines. Even like for instance, when she turns off the television to make out with him, he's just like, "What are you doing?" Like he's so insulted that she turned off his horror movie that he was also offended by. And then it eventually gets to a point where they have shots of him, multiple shots to be honest, when he starts to kill, where he just struts, literally has a strut. Like Terry has a certain walk that he does throughout the whole movie consistently, even to a point where they show this amazing shadow shot with
his machete. Yeah.
And it's just his shadow across like a big 30-40 foot wall, and he's doing the strut, the synth is just busting out, and it's incredible. And they do that a ton. They also have another shot where he's it's directly like in front of him. He's not looking at the camera, but he's looking a little above it, and it's just going with him while he's walking down the street. Once again, just machete in hand, strutting along, shoulders are bumping. It's the funniest performance I think I've ever seen anyone do when it comes to being this villain, this slasher. It's incredible vibes. Or when he's smoking the joint, walking down the thing with the joint in one hand, machete in the other. It's just, there's so many moments with Terry that are absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, there's parts where he's just like, hey, why isn't like everyone having as much fun as me? Like we should just
he gets
come on.
When he's like he's playing with a dead body at one point in front of his girlfriend, when that starts to get a little bit more revealed, and he's insulted that she doesn't want to like play with it with him, and ends up getting mad and it's like, okay, well I guess I'll kill you too. But he's still running after her and saying things like, I was saying that I love you. Like he's really just going into the comedic aspect the entire time. He's very aware of what he's doing, and it's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, and I think where some people might get tripped up is like this could just seem like, like an actor has like lost the thread on how they're meant to be calibrated to be like a scarier slasher villain character, but it's absolutely intended to be the way that it's done. Like he is like way that Terry has been separated from other slasher villains, where he is kind of funny and he is just kind of like quote unquote normal or clean cut in like the way that people you don't know as a viewer why people would assume that way. He seems like he kind of gives off bad vibes, but it's funny because kind of like he's not a masked killer. There's no mystery that he's the killer, from the opening scene. He literally just is like the goofy menace of like the picture perfect suburb sort of come to like cartoon life in a way. And the movie, to its credit, I think is absolutely aware of that. There's even like great little gags that aren't just like gore gags. Like one of my favorite ones is when we get cut into 10 years later, the Thanksgiving dinner that everyone's having, where we are cut into this scene by everyone just laughing for 30 seconds and being like, wow, that's so funny. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. And they never tell you like what anyone said or like what the joke was. Like you're just there. And as a result, because you're not, as an audience member, let in on the joke, this just feels weird. You're just like, it feels like unnatural. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that the way that the filmmaking does that, like it intentionally strips that from you to kind of give you that quality. And then what happens is you get the experience of the mother who is trying to put on this show that, you know, she has normal sons, she has a normal family, she's, you know, she has a new fiance that she wants to marry, and she wants everyone to just be happy. And even Todd, who, you know, went crazy and killed someone supposedly 10 years ago, she talks about how he, on Thanksgiving, she goes and she takes him, you know, like a piece of pie from the bakery, and, you know, like she wants to adhere to this image of the family. And everything about the film is like, how can we hilariously and gleefully and violently destroy that and make it feel psychotic and unnatural and strange? And every choice that is made on a filmmaking level here, I think absolutely gets that across to you. And if even if it didn't, eventually by the time it gets to the kills, it's like, yeah, here's like the person nobody suspects. Everyone goes runs into Terry, and they're like, "Oh, you're not the crazy one, right? You're Terry. Oh, but you guys kind of look alike. That's weird, eh? You know, it's intentionally being like, it could be either one. Any of these normal American kids could just go wrong and then decide, you know, Dr. Berman, I see you there. I'm going to just slice her in half and have her intestines leak all over the ground and have her, you know, be trying to move around while that's happening." And Ed French even said at one point, and he thinks they shot it, but it didn't work maybe, so they cut it.